When interior designer Ron Marvin moved to New York, people told him he'd get more space for his money in Brooklyn or Queens. But Ron preferred a smaller place with a lot of charm in Manhattan.
Hi, I'm Ron, and you're in Manhattan. This is the Chelsea neighborhood. Crazy, lots of sights and sounds to hear. But I love it. It's my neighborhood. And I live in an old hotel next to the Hotel Chelsea. Love to show it to you. Let's go take a look.
Ron's 250 square foot apartment is united by a chocolate and white color scheme. He added small pops of other colors as accents.
I had to do a lot of downsizing when I moved. I had a 500 square foot apartment in San Francisco, and I had moved into here, which is a 250 square foot apartment. So I started immediately renovating the place when I got it, even though it's a rental. Did cheap things to upgrade it because I knew I was going to be here for a while. And you know, this is an old hotel, so every room is an old hotel suite. So I like to think that I have a very well-appointed hotel suite.
People often don't think about their foyer, but Ron maximized the small space.
I just had the mirror cut and had this chandelier installed right through it. And then I painted around it and it draws your eye up and makes the room seem bigger. In addition, I just put up this little shelf in here. I have a place to drop my keys and my glasses, talk to the doorman. New York apartments, you only get one closet, so you have to be pretty darn organized in there.
Ron didn't want the bed to pop out, so he dressed it in the living room's chocolate and white palette.
I decided to have a full queen-size bed. Not a Murphy bed, not a sofa sleeper, not a futon, but an actual bed. But I dressed it in chocolate and white so that it matches the rest of the palette of the room. Behind the bed, I used some complementary colors to help define this area. This is actually a dining room tabletop that I just have resting back here. I kind of like the way it looked. It just created a nice clean line. And over here on this side of the bed, I just simply stack some baskets up with stuff that I need. I don't access it every day, so that's why it's all right if it's over there. And it creates a nightstand for me. People always ask, do you make your bed like that every single day? I'm like, yes, I make my bed like that every single day. One, because I don't know if like someone's gonna come over after work or whatever, but also, I'm worth it. I was just sitting at the end of my bed with my computer on a cutting board. And then I was fortunate enough to find a desk that exactly fit into the 4 feet that I had available for a desk. I made these bulletin boards that are custom cut to fit inside the architecture here. Underneath the desk, I just bought these like white boxes that match the desk. And they look a lot better to me, and they're a lot more functional to me than just a random file cabinet would have been.
I love how Ron looked at the way he used his space and redesigned it based on his needs. Know your priorities. If you use something every day, give it the space it deserves.
Please don't tell this man your apartment is too small to entertain.
One of my favorite things about my apartment is the view. When I first saw the place, it was one of the things that sold me on it. There's such great architecture out that window, and the Empire State Building is right there. This buffet has got to be one of my best scores ever. I didn't even have an apartment or a place to live yet, and I bought it. It was $75 marked down to $55. When you see something you like, buy it. You'll figure it out later where it will go. It's now my dresser. Hides it away, and no one would ever guess that this is my dresser. And then I have this enormous thing of flowers and branches. I say, be bold in a small space. Make big moves.
Tall trees can add so much life to a room. If your space is really small, opt for a skinny tree like a dracaena or a spiky palm. A big fat ficus is just going to take up way too much room.
But to contrast the big scale of that, I have these little cubes to sit on, which are perfect because they're small, they're flexible, they offer extra seating, and I can move them around. The same with my coffee tables. They don't take up any visual space, so when you're looking into the apartment, you can just look straight through them, and you see the sofa. This sofa, when I saw it, was at a flea market. They were hot pink crushed velvet, but I could see that the shape of them was perfect, and they were vintage, and nobody else had this sofa. I knew that I was going to reupholster them in white vinyl, which I think is perfect because if I spill, I can just wipe it up. I have lots of lamps. I have 11 lamps in this apartment. I am a self-confessed lamp tramp, I know that. Besides the fact that they can make an apartment seem really, really warm, they also become sculptural pieces of art almost. I like to see different shapes, different textures, different woods, and I think they add a whole element to the apartment.
Ron has a few tricks that make his tiny kitchen work.
In order to make the space feel bigger, I immediately painted all the walls chocolate brown, which makes the walls just sort of recede. These were some really, really ugly cabinets from the 70s. I kept the cabinets on the wall, but I just removed the doors, painted everything white, and then back in here, I just installed some mirrors to make everything seem twice as big. And I still have like room on top for the toaster and extra serving pieces. These are functional things, but they're kind of fun to look at, so I leave them out. I think the biggest thing that I did to expand this room is to put this mirror right here. It makes the room seem so much larger, and on top of it, behind that, is an ugly fuse box. These are just some simple miso bowls that I bought at a Japanese store. I use them to organize things, and they're something that would be found in the kitchen, so I think it's kind of a fun way to organize things in the kitchen. Moving on to my huge kitchen countertop, this is it. 18 inches wide by 24 inches deep. That's the whole kitchen counter. To make more countertop, I have a little cutting board that I like to hide back there. I just pull it out, lay it across the top of the sink and the stove, and immediately for parties, I've got a bar, I've got extra cutting space, and extra prep space. Love to have people over to my apartment. I can't cook full dinners anymore, and I can't sit down, so what I can do is have cocktail parties. But the apartment's actually kind of small, so sometimes it can get a little crowded in here, but everybody always has a good time, and if it gets a little too crowded, we head out with the door with our drinks, and we head up to the rooftop deck. It's a really fun way of entertaining. I love living in a small space, especially my small space, because I think it's really comfortable and cozy and well organized, and everything that I need is here. And if it's not here, it's New York. It's right outside the front door.